Okay, so hey guys, it's Matt from season two. I got fifth place, and I'm back to host the roundtable, get you guys to look a little bit more at the final threes game, and hopefully bring up some points that maybe you guys wouldn't think of right now because I'm sure some of you are bitter, but it's important to take that out of the take it out of your headspace and look a little bit more unbiased. That's what I'm basically here for, playing devil's advocate a lot and stuff. But we need to figure out who the final three is. So someone just got evicted. And does anyone have any guesses as to who that is going to be?
Climax.
Climax.
Okay.
I actually have a pretty unpopular opinion. I think it's going to be Javen. I think that Chris won the HOH and then won the veto. And then he wanted to automatically get to the final two because I think he makes pussy moves and does whatever is easiest for him. So I think he's going to take out Javen.
Here's the thing though, if he does that, he's automatically in final two, but he's automatically next to Lacey. And is that what he wants to do?
I think that in his mind, he thinks Lacey.
I feel like Chris won HOH, and then I think he thought Lacey as competition, so he could have gotten Lacey out.
Well, if Chris was smart, he wouldn't put Climax on the block. No, he would put Climax on the block.
I think if Chris won HOH, he would want Climax out so that he has more options for final two instead of being automatically in final two, next to whoever's there other than Climax.
I don't know if Matt knows. Just to clarify, Matt, Climax has 2 penalty votes. So
I've been told.
He goes home. That's what we're saying.
Right.
Not because it's smart for him to be him, but just by default, he might have just went home. If he's by nominee, he's going home by default. So
I do think it would be smart to send Climax out just so you have at least 2 options for a final two instead of just 1.
That's true.
Okay, so it sounds like I've heard all the names of the people that are left, but a lot of Climax. So I guess now we got to see who it is, right?
Please don't be Lacey. Oh my god.
Cover y'all's eyes.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Listen, don't even say that.
Oh well.
Already see his bitch ass.
What's up, bitch?
Oh my god.
Climax. We knew it.
Climax, I was rooting for you to win. We were all rooting for you. You were literally going to win 9-0.
I don't know about that, but...
Right.
So Climax was evicted. Climax, do you want to give a rundown of the week?
Not really. Anyways. So basically what happened, Chris won HOH, and then he nominated me and Jaden, and then I didn't realize he won veto until 10 minutes ago, so I almost convinced him to use the veto on me, but that didn't happen. So yeah.
Wait.
Okay.
Why wouldn't he not?
I was gonna say, does anyone have thoughts on?
So we didn't nominate Lacey?
Correct.
He has no idea what the jury's thinking because that was
Let me say something. I was like, girl, Lacey's gonna win this game. It's your best interest to take me, blah blah blah, because whatever. But now Lacey's winning, y'all, and I'm very excited.
Wait, I'm confused as to why he wouldn't take you.
If he used the veto on you, who were you gonna evict?
I was gonna evict Lacey because that was
I'm so happy.
That would have been smart. That would have been smart.
That would have been smart then.
But Climax, you weren't winning this game regardless. So why
would we take?
Also, let me say something. It does not matter if I was winning this game or not. Regardless, I'm still going to put up a fight and I'm still going to try to win. I do not care if all odds are stacked against me. I'm still a fighter. So
I'm confused as to why, keeping Climax, unless he won HOH, that's an automatic final two. So he's choosing to go against Lacey in the end, possibly. I don't it's the more commendable thing, but in reality, he's made it way harder for himself. And Lacey's also a bigger threat to win than Climax.
Big facts.
I think Lacey has a huge chance at winning that endurance. One of those parts.
She could win the winning part.
Chris, basically what Mason just confirmed is Chris could have taken the final 4 by storm if he wanted to, and he chose not to because he wanted to try to play a commendable game. But it's really not a commendable game. It's more so how do we perceive it, and this is how we're perceiving it.
The thing is,
I'm sorry, Kayla. I told him, I was the jury will see you as this is a huge game move. You'll get to the final 2. This will be perfect for your game. You'll get a straight shot to final 2. Still didn't want to listen. So
he would have won too if he did that.
I just think it's he had an opportunity to kind of go against what could have been the most predictable thing, and he played it safe. That's not a winner in my eyes. Anybody who was
not surprised.
Anybody who
Okay,
was like strategically there would have gotten rid of Lacey if they won the veto. If they won HOH and veto, backdoor Lacey, get her out, you know? No, I love her. Like, I want her to win, but it was stupid.
I think he thinks he can beat Lacey. I think maybe he thinks that I don't think he knows what the jury's thinking, because
I actually agree with Justin. I think that Chris is under the impression he can beat Lacey.
I think Chris is under the impression that he's playing this masterful game and that he can beat he could beat any of them. So
Hi, Ava. It's so funny seeing you here, girl. Long time no see.
Hi.
Okay, so there's a lot of talk about Chris and Lacey. The final three is Chris, Lacey, and Javen, as we just found out because Climax got evicted. So I guess let's talk about Chris first, since he just won the HOH and the veto. His stats are that he has 3 HOHs. He won 1 at the final 12, 1 at the final 7, 1 at the final 4. And the people evicted on his HOHs were Bella, Peyton, and Climax. He's won 2 vetoes at final 5 and final 4. He saved Climax with one of those vetoes, and he kept the noms the same the other time. And he's been nominated 3 times at final 15, final 13, and final 10. So, I mean, that's a lot of HOHs, vetoes, and noms. What do you guys think about that? Do those say certain things about his game? Or
if y'all don't mind if I speak up first, I absolutely ruined his first HOH. Second was he got out me. Personally, this is coming from my point of view, so yes, it can be kind of opinionated. However, Chris decided to target me when he won that double eviction HOH. Meanwhile, I kept him in the double eviction he was nominated, but he wouldn't nominate Simona or Javen, 2 people who sent his ass out or tried to send his ass out the door on the first double eviction, and he still chose to nominate me over them. So his like perception of the game is kind of like questionable. And then on his third HOH, he just got out Climax when he could have got out Lacey. If he really, really wanted to, he could have gotten out Lacey. So I feel like that just speaks for itself.
Well, however, I feel like
I have something to say.
Oh, yes, Climax?
Yeah, thank you. So please, I obviously don't think winning this competition you have to have comp wins. So these HOHs, these vetoes really mean nothing to me, because at the end of the day, it's about manipulating your competitors. And right now, the 2 other not even the 2 other house guests, 1 other house guest that is still left in there has done a perfect job at that throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. I think that Chris, although he has a lot of comp wins, and I actually do disagree with Climax. I think that comp win in a physical game is very important for Big Brother. I think that in his first and third HOH, he got out Bella, who wasn't his target, and then Climax when he could have gotten out Lacey. So both of those HOHs flopped. However, I do think that his double eviction HOH, I think he did a good move at putting out me and Peyton, who were both threats in the game.
I feel like I was really close with Chris in this house, and a lot of the time when we were having those one-on-one conversations, I think he percepted his game as an winner game, or he told me, like, in the early jury phase, he's playing, and this was on Justin's eviction when he didn't want to flip. He said, I'm playing to win, not to come back. And I was like,
but then why didn't he evict Lacey?
Exactly. And it's just like moving forward, it's like there's a pattern of certain game decisions that aren't really winner.
Of certain buffoonery. Don't say game decisions, girl. It's buffoonery.
It's just like Lacey's the only one really that I think is giving me something.
I think that comps matter to an extent, but also like the first HOH he won, I think he won that because Kayla gave him the advantage. So I'm not going to count that as like he's a masterful competitor. Also, he had to hold the egg, which I feel like he was holding nothing wrong anyways. And then later on, I feel like winning comps when you have like 4 people competing against you is not as impressive to me. So like, yeah, it's a comp win, but like you had 3 people against you. It's not like that crazy. Like, okay, you won comp. So I'm
gonna disagree with Justin on that one. I think that holding the egg was actually super impressive. I got disconnected.
I don't think he held that egg right.
He didn't.
Okay. Just let me finish. So I think holding the egg, like, you can get committed on that, but it's what you actually do with your HOH. He put up Bella, and then Bella went home, and that was not what he wanted whatsoever. So it's like, how good of an HOH was it?
That wasn't his fault. That wasn't his fault. That was your fault.
Yes, it was, because he shouldn't have put up Bella.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is his fault, Simone, because he shouldn't have put up Bella. He shouldn't have trusted me and put up Bella.
All right, let's
told
calm
him-
down on Miss Simona now. Let's calm down on Miss Simona.
No, but the thing is,
No,
I
Simona
think he made that
knows we love
move.
her.
She's a
I
pretty
think he made
girl.
that move when he wasn't 100% solid on the numbers. I think he.
That's
thought
what
he
I'm
had the
saying.
numbers,
That's what.
but
Yeah.
he wasn't locked in. So I think he made the move way too quick and way too hastily, and it ruined that week in Bella.
I just genuinely think if he really truly wanted Justin out that week, he would have put up someone who's not just a pawn, but someone who has really good, stable connections in that game. And I mean, no shade to this girl because I love her, but I was telling him, if you want Justin out of the game, I think putting someone up he's really close with, but also has better connections in line, like Chloe, would have probably sent Justin home. No
I
offense.
think the same goes for Javen, because Javen ended up being one of the votes to save Justin.
I think,
and
yeah,
he's
I
also
think
well
Javen saved Chloe over me. So I think Javen or Chloe next to me would have been maybe a little better than Bella.
I'm gonna call shade on Javen. Wait, I'm gonna call shade on Javen because he cannot sit here and say that he will not vote to evict Justin because of the same skin color as him when he evicts Justin. What?
Against me.
I'll
He
save that for
evicted
the
Justin
Javen
against
portion.
me.
Okay, yeah,
I'll
we'll
save
save
that
that.
for the
We'll
Javen
save that for Javen's
Yeah,
part.
you'll
Yes,
have a lot to
because
say
we
about
will
him.
do have a lot to talk about everyone. But
But
I mean, with this, it seems like
for Justin. Justin,
it seems like
me and him, we don't have our beef anymore. Kayla, I brought it for you, bitch. Get the fuck. I'm just kidding. Keep going.
A lot of the talk is about, it seems like his first HOH, like not getting Justin out. Do you guys think that he didn't care about Bella and that was still an option for him? Like it could have still been a good thing where he was like, I don't care if she goes home.
No,
Or
it
you guys
was.
all think
He for sure thought Bella was staying, and I was going.
It was me telling him. It was me confirming that. Oh yeah, Bella is the perfect pawn. Justin's about to go home almost unanimously, and although everything I was saying, I meant it at the time. Everyone knows how that went weak.
I can confirm this. When I had that one-on-one conversation and we were talking about that renomination ceremony, he wanted Justin out. So he genuinely thought Bella would send him home. He was 100% sure on that, because when I tried to bring up other people in this game, he completely denied that shit and went back to Bella. He said, Bella's going home this week.
I think with Kayla, with you saying that, I think that proves that he doesn't have the best perception of this game.
No, that's what I mean. I'm saying if he truly thought Bella was the best possible nominee for that nomination, that says a lot about his, first off, his first HOH, and second off, his game in general.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think he underestimated my connections. And like my one thing I do is I'm a good talker, so I think he did it a little bit too early for him to be like, I want to make a big move, and it didn't work out.
I have something
but
to say.
do you guys feel like
this is
you go.
Oh my god. Okay. I have something to say. At the end of the day, if Chris really wanted to play if he was really here to win this game, then I would not be sitting out here tonight. And that's period.
I mean, do you guys feel like, though, after his first HOH, like he was put on the block final 15, final 13, he wins HOH at final 12. Do none of you feel like that changed at least the momentum of the game?
No, I mean, we have a girl sitting here with 9 nominations.
But not for the reason that he wanted to.
Well, okay, to be fair, even though he wanted to get Justin out, another thing was he just wanted to split apart the big alliance, and he did that. There was a 5%
true. That's a fact.
on the side. One of the numbers was lost, and then Justin and Ava split off from us. So it did split it up pretty well.
Another thing is Chris and I, we weren't working that closely together, but we had a talk right before HOH, and it got to the point where it was me, him, and Grayson at the end of the HOH, and I was able to convince Grayson to drop and give
Okay, but okay, keep going.
I mean, you could have won that. You could have won that, and you dropped.
Yeah, you go.
What? You think that you just decided that you didn't want the HOH? Is that what
No,
happened?
I don't think that you convinced me to drop.
You think that Chris convinced you to drop?
I think that you said that you were gonna drop, so I was like, well, I don't want someone to win HOH. So, but we're not talking about us, so keep going.
No, that was all. I was just saying that he got people to drop and allow him to win HOH. That was my point there.
He didn't get me to drop. You dropping got me to drop.
Okay.
Maybe he got you to drop. All I know he was saying was, you guys are safe. I promise. That's all I heard.
Again, he was begging for y'all to drop. That says something.
And look what happened with that week.
Could have kept going.
True.
No, his week did 100% change the dynamic of the game, but not in the way that he intended to. So I'm not gonna give him credit because he did split up our group, but he said split up our group, get me out, do this, do that, and it's like didn't.
I also just don't think it was better for his game. I think if Justin went that week, it would have completely benefited his game.
Yeah.
But the fact that Bella went, it was just like he already knew that like clearly that's not going to age well, you know, with Justin. Like Justin's not going to forget that shit, you know.
Period.
So
okay, there's another thing. Sorry, you go.
Oh no, I was just saying. I just whispered under my breath. Hence why I kept Justin.
Gotcha. Okay, I also was gonna say, I mean, something to look at with his stats is that the last time he was nominated Final 15, Final 13, and Final 10, but now it's Final 3. He hasn't been nominated since Final 10. Does that say anything about the arc of his game? Was there something that picked up with him?
I feel like people
socially,
being nominated
strategically?
him being nominated didn't do anything though. So like I
True.
don't know why.
I think by Final 10, everyone knew who their targets were, and there were a lot of
That's what I was about to say.
than Chris. At the beginning,
That's
we
exactly
put up
what I
Chris
was about to
because
say.
we don't know who to put up because throw up Chris and Lacey. Like Chris and Lacey were the 2 pawns. You know who to put up? Okay, throw up Chris or Lacey. But by Final 10, you have bigger threats. You're not gonna waste your time on Chris.
I do think that Chris was actually able to get himself, and unlike Lacey, out of the pawn position, which is understandable that we can't take into consideration.
True, that is true.
Can anyone think of specific social connections he made to make that happen, or was it just by luck of the draw?
I just think he kind of was almost forgotten. I think he was just kind of out of the picture. And I think there was bigger targets like myself, Ava, Justin, Peyton that were in the larger picture. And those people were going to get targeted, not him, because people weren't worried about him.
I think the reason why Chris became off of the pawn position was because at that point he like won an HOH, tried to make a move. People were maybe more concerned that, like if they had their target, they would put them up against Lacey rather than Chris.
Yeah.
Someone would take the shot at
He
Chris rather than
just
Lacey.
wasn't that good of a player then to really have that target on his back.
Right.
Everything he did in that first HOH went flipped of what he expected it to be. So that's not a good gameplay move. And that's why nobody targeted him. If it succeeded, people would have targeted him point blank because he got out.
His number one ally.
Yeah. So.
And Chloe, I think I cut you off before. I'm not sure if it was you, but.
I don't remember what I was going to say. Honestly.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I think that Chris was also through the jury phase. I think I don't know how to say this. Kind of people who he was working with started winning competitions in HOHs, which is another reason why he was off the block. However, I don't believe that he was the one who kind of formed those relationships. I think it was because of the first HOH with the house split.
I would like to say, I would like to say, as a viewer this season, having front row seats in the house, I would like to say that Chris's game was absolute shit. He didn't really make any game moves whatsoever, unless he won competitions. Congratulations. I think everyone here besides myself as a viewer can, win competitions. So I think that's basically all he did throughout this game was just win, 4 competitions? Whoop-de-doo, bitch. Congratulations. You won competitions. Like,
I completely agree.
Props to him for winning those competitions. But if you look at the strategical rearrangements there, they were not at the expectations he was claiming to have. Like, if he was supposedly, which he did say, an all-star game, a winner, that's not there, especially even after the season. Like, it's just like,
wait.
So is part of the problem part of the problem you guys have with him being that he had like an attitude as if he was doing something really great?
When he won the first HOH, his ego was the most inflamed I've seen anybody in the entire season. His ego gets so big and it pissed. Remember, me, Grace, and Chloe were like so pissed off because he had this like ego because he won the egg competition. Like,
it was just like, for me, I feel like he made that first HOH week, like he kept bringing it up to me even after that week happened, and it was just like he said that was like game changing, and that was not game changing at all. I don't know where that energy was coming from. And I love him. Like I love him on a personal level, but a game level that week, I mean, it may have shaped the game, but it wasn't what he wanted to be.
The way he intended it to be. Yeah.
I'm going to go back on what Kayla said about him playing an all-star game. No, I don't think he played an all-star game. I think he played a second chance game. I mean, congratulations, you'll get another chance, because clearly this first chance didn't work out. Chris is just a crybaby who tried to get what he wanted, but he never did.
I think I disagree with one thing that you said, Climax. I think he made moves, but there wasn't a move that he made that was winner. Like it was all the safest. There were smart moves, but it was all the safest move. Like if he saw two lanes, whichever one was safe, that's the way he took. And like yes, that's commendable to an extent, but you have to have. I feel like all winners have at least one or two, or like a portfolio of something that makes them game win, something that makes them a winner. Like, oh, they did this is why I wanted him to win. Like, yes, he's smart, but he did this. Like, I don't see a single thing that you think, oh, this is why he deserves to win. He just played the safest possible game from start to finish.
I just feel like they were predictable.
Look at this week. Look how predictable this was.
Can I say something? I just want to know. Chloe, you can go because you haven't really said anything.
Okay, so in the past jury segments, also there's been a lot of hate on his second HOH. How he put up Grayson and Peyton saying that wasn't a move. So I just want to know from like you guys what you think he should have done with that week if it wasn't going to be them two.
Personally,
I think that makes sense. I think that is a part of his game that was good.
I think that makes
sense. Okay, in the past jury segments, nobody's been saying that. I've been the only person to be like that was a smart move. So I'm like, I just want to know what would have been the smart move.
No, I think it was the safe move, but I don't think he should have done anything else.
Yeah, can I say something?
I think he should get credit for that then. If
we're all talking
because if he did anything else, we would have like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? So I think that was a good move.
Well, for me, that goes in the category of makes sense, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, great. It's just like, okay, like, yeah.
And also, those moves didn't succeed that much. He won.
Payne got out. When it comes to me, from my thing, my thing was okay. And then that's the other thing I'm confused about is I think he said in his confessional after the whole week was said and done that I was his target all along. And
he does that. He lies a lot.
Okay, but hang on. I don't know how I feel about that because I'm being like 100% truthful. I genuinely, honestly think if I won HOH, wait, let me think. How many people? There were 6 of us left. Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah, I would have put him up. So yeah, that is smart. I was about to say I don't think I would have put him up.
Grayson was definitely the target. Grayson was definitely the target, and Grayson won the veto. That's why he went.
Oh, 1,000%.
But I think he put up 2 potential targets with Grayson being the top priority. But since Grayson won the veto, then okay, Peyton's the next one.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Why make a confessional and be like, I was targeting Peyton all week long? That's not what
that's what he said.
And then look at that. Grayson won the HOH and he didn't nominate Chris.
But that was for, can I say something, Chloe? That was because I wanted to split up Simona, Climax, and Lacey. Because I felt like
the prime trio.
I didn't want to put up Chris. That is why.
True. It's just like at that point, that was strategically what was best for his game. And like, I'm not taking that away from him. Props to him. He put up 2 people who were first off, not on his like, good, I wouldn't say good side, but like just not really there with him. Like the connections were not there, and they were the 2 biggest competitors at that point in the game. So he did that, but knowing that again, his target, and this is what has been like a complete wraparound, is the fact Justin was his target his first HOH week. Justin stayed. So that did not work out. Peyton was not his target. Grayson was his target. That did not work out again.
We don't know that though. I'm just saying we don't really know that.
Okay, but
it can be implied. It can be implied.
Grayson, we know you're the target, boo.
I mean, to be fair, even if the target doesn't go home, as long as you have someone next to him that you don't really care about, it's not necessarily a loss. So it still could have been, good for him, even though his targets don't go.
I agree with that.
His first HOH.
That's why I'm not giving him like amazing praise for it, because like he did what he should have done. Like I'm not gonna I feel like anything else would have been stupid. So like he put up Grayson and Peyton, but like it's like, okay.
I hate to like switch people, but can we have that same energy for the final 5 HOH when Lacey got Grayson out, because she should have done that, and if she did anything else, it would have been stupid. But for some reason, she gets praised for that.
But it succeeded.
But it's a different story with Lacey.
She was the one who did it.
Lacey's under different circumstances.
Lacey was the only one to actually succeed with getting Grayson out.
That's why
nobody else did that. Everyone tried that
That's why I give her more praise for it.
Said it. We were all thinking it. She was the only bitch in that house to actually do it, and it was on.
We're the Lacey Stan Club at. Hey.
Okay, so I mean, there's a lot of negative about Chris. It sounds like, but can anyone just say something? A strong point of his, because he is still in the final 3. He did win 5 competitions. He did stay off the block for like 7 weeks now. So what did he do right? What did he do right?
He did a good job of, after his horrible first HOH, sliding under the radar for a few weeks, and I think he had a target on his back, and if he reacted a certain way, it could have fucked him over. But I think he just kind of faded away, and that was what was smart for him to do. So I'll give him that.
I think he just avoided the controversy. I think he avoided making himself be in any So he had those conversations with bigger names that were definitely going to be targeted throughout jury phase, but he managed to not be seen. And that's a good thing, because he's obviously in the final 3. So something went right in the way that, props to him. The competitions are one thing, but also the fact that he managed to fly under the radar, like just said. So those are 2 things that I think definitely were the better parts of his game. Do I think there were a lot of flaws though? Yes.
I think that a big highlight of his game was the double eviction, not just the move. But if I'm gonna give myself props for winning HOH after my closest ally went home,
I was just about to say that.
have to give props for Kayla going home and him getting right back on his feet by winning HOH. That is commendable.
I think Kayla went home because of him, though.
Yeah.
I think he's the reason Kayla went home, because I think if he would have flipped with Kayla, Kayla,
I disagree.
To keep me, I think I would have been the bigger target over Kayla. I don't think Kayla would have went home right after I did. If I stayed in the game.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Sense.
Kayla told him that.
But I think, Justin, the thing is that I think people were just worn out of targeting you. At that point, you got nominated so many times, people still had your name in their mouths, and nothing succeeded. Genuinely, if you stayed that week, I would have been the target next, because I was the one that was thinking about flipping, to try.
Yeah, I still think I would have been the bigger target over you if I stayed for the last time. I think Grayson still would have been someone just. I don't let me target Kayla now. I still think I would have been the biggest target.
Well, that's a different conversation, but.
I was gonna say, even though what he did tonight with the veto and then the whole thing was kind of weird,
stupid.
At least in final 5, using the veto on Climax was smart, because Chris set himself up to where if he was sitting next to Climax the following week, he would automatically stay. So I think that was
would.
Why not continue that? Just continue.
If he used a veto on Climax, 1,000%.
I think that it, the fact that he did save Climax just 1 week ago shows that there could have been some strategy to it. It would be weird if he saved him 1 week, didn't save him the next, just for no reason.
But I don't understand. If you did it one time for the 2 penalty votes, what happened this time that changed? Just do it again.
I think
everybody knows Lacey was the biggest jury threat.
I don't think he knows.
Where was the knowledge?
Yeah, I don't think they realize that.
I told Javen the same thing. I was like, Javen, the jury is all rooting for Lacey. She has this great underdog story. I was like, I am not your threat to win, and he voted me out. And Chris was the only person to vote Lacey out next to me on the block. I clearly was not a jury threat, and I think that shows at least some awareness of the game.
And Grayson, I just want to point out, Grayson, did you saved Climax once too, right?
Yeah.
I did. That was to send Simona home. It was for not for the double vote thing.
So what makes it worse if he did it?
Because he saved Climax in order to use those 2 votes to automatically gain a placement. Although that's good strategy, it's good to use that to get to the next level. I don't find that I don't know, respectable.
He thought it was kind of pussy.
So then why is it
insult Chris's intelligence? But anybody with a strategical mind, especially at that point in the game, it's final 4. There's nothing to worry about at that point. And that specific time in the game, knowing that Lacey is probably going to win this game if she makes final two.
He's through with his win.
You had an opportunity to get her out. You failed. And Climax evict Lacey. So
Chris,
with a strategical mindset, would got rid of Lacey.
Did Chris know you would have evicted Lacey?
Mm-hmm. I told him.
Okay.
I'm like, it really just hit me. Like, I'm so like, why he had the choice between Climax, even over Javen. He could have, like, what? He chose Climax out of the. I'm so confused. What is he? I think there's no reasonable explanation that he can ever give us that will make enough sense for choosing to send Climax home right now when you could have sent home Lacey. Like, especially even if you aren't sure about the jury threat, she really got rid of Grayson last week. Like when he was the biggest threat ever, and I don't know. I'm really confused.
And I'm gonna something we haven't spoken on yet, and I feel like it's probably gonna get mentioned soon. But we have to talk about the fact that Lacey evicted Climax, and I actually think that is a smart move because Climax if Climax would have gone into the final three, he would have been so easy to bring to the final two.
Climax was gonna go home regardless, so that
No, because they would have taken Climax over Lacey any day. They would have.
Yeah, I am dumb. I just thought about that. He had penalty votes. Okay, my bad. I'm stupid.
I think Lacey was smart to even evict me. I think she knew she didn't want to go down with me when I went home, and she kind of just like threw me away and moved on a little bit. I think that was smart for her too, even though we were really close. And I was like, her in the moment, I think it made sense for her game to not go down with me.
I want to kind of call out Ava just because she's been a little quiet. I just want to know if she has like what her thoughts are on Chris and his game, just because I want everyone to kind of like shed some light on it.
Everyone's already kind of said what I was like thinking, but I mean, I just don't think he's done enough to like win. I don't think he deserved it to. I don't know. I think he's not playing smart right now, and I don't know. It's gonna come back to get him real soon. So.
Well, also another thing though, like I know you guys are saying that it was a mistake for him to take out Climax now instead of Lacey, but at the same time, like again, like I said, like next to me, like he was the only person to have the awareness to evict Lacey over me. And I know that's like me being a little bit biased, like, whoa, Chris was the one person to keep me. But at the same time, like I do think it was smarter in that situation to take out Lacey.
Why didn't he have
that?
Where is it now? He threw it away.
Let's not jump on Simona, but if
I'm just saying.
If he knew the fact, if he knew that if he had strategical mindset there, he would have kept the same energy the week after.
It made sense.
All I have to say,
he was right. So why not take it? Why throw it away? I don't get why he threw that away if he knew then. Because that shows me that he knew that Simona told him Lacey was a threat, and he took it and realized it. And then now when he had the final chance to do it, he's still like, nah.
Okay, and the last thing we're gonna touch on with Chris is again with the comp wins. Even if let's say like his HOH's target did not go home, it's important to realize, comp wins are not only for getting your targets out, but also keeping yourself safe. If he won the HOHs, he can't go home. If he won the veto, he can't go home. So I also think that, that's a strong point. At the end of the day, that got him a week farther just by winning a competition, whether it went the way he wanted or not. He made it another week, seemed to bounce back from it. And yeah, but I think that was a good conversation. There was a lot of both sides being brought up, which is good. But we're going to switch to, another big topic of conversation, it seems like, and that's Lacey. So Lacey's stats, she won 1 HOH in which she took out Grayson. She won 1 veto at final 9 in which she saved herself with. And she was nominated, not that much, just 8 times at final 15, final 13, final 12, final 11, final 9, final 8, final 7, and final 6. So, sorry.
Do we know how many times she stayed with the veto? 3 times? How many times did she stay?
She got stayed with the veto, like by Marvin, by herself, and by who else?
Kayla.
I call shade because I would say 3 times veto in a row, and I do declare that was not just luck. I do declare that was just not just luck.
It was your penalty vote,
and I'm gonna roll with this. So if any of you bitches have probably rolling with it, we can post. But I brought this.
Wait, but Climax
for all of you post. The fuck.
I'm not here to.
So with her, she was nominated 8 times. Does that say like coaster kind of person or like strategy, or what do you guys think about that? How do you guys take the nominations as?
Coaster personality. She's bold and she's loud. She called me out in front of the whole house when she was the final nominee and I was the HOH, and she called me out like week 4 of the game, and she put her, she didn't care. So I don't think she has a coaster personality.
There's two words to describe Lacey. Bad bitch. That is all to describe her, because first off, when everything was lacking around them with the basic ass nominations that were good for people's games but boring as fuck, she brought the entertainment with the confessionals. I was living for them. That's the only reason why I kept tuning in with those confessionals. Her confessionals were bomb as fuck. So, and I mean, even when that whole Justin situation went down, she said the truth, but and honestly, she said, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say what I have to say, and that's Barb. Period.
I want to give my 2 cents real quick, because I'm already expecting this to come up, is the fact that Lacey is not this strategic mastermind. We all can sit here and admit that Lacey is not a strategical mastermind. However, the cards that she was dealt this season, you have to understand, when you're nominated, the mental pressure of being nominated, walking around, it's almost like real Big Brother. It's like sometimes you feel like people don't even want to talk to you. You get really bad anxiety. You start thinking the worst of everything. She had to deal with that 8 fucking times this season. And so she wasn't even playing Big Brother. She was playing some weird, corrupted version of Survivor, y'all. And I need y'all to understand that. She had to literally do whatever she had to do to move on to the next week, and she's done it efficiently, and look where she's sitting. So she obviously did something right.
You honestly can't tell me it was really her fault, because she got put up by Ava at the beginning, like this, at the starting on. I put her up when I was kind of working
in that position,
and then once you get put up like 2-3 times, you become the easy pawn. I don't think she's and that made her the pawn. She got kind of fucking unlucky, and she dealt with it. And
I think
she just never got a chance to like prove herself.
Yeah,
the main
and then when
point
she
is
did,
that
she went to rage and got me out.
she controlled. I mean, sometimes she did lash out at people, and that's also ice. But it's the fact that she managed to control herself almost 5 out of the 8 times she was nominated. If I was in that position, I mean, even if it would have been bad for my game, I genuinely would have been pissed. So even if she was pissed,
I don't know how she handled. Wait,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Me neither.
Like, I think
she has the mental strength for this game.
Climax got put up, I think 3 times. I think that's the most that anybody in the jury now, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I think 3, maybe 4 times. She went up 8 times, and she somehow survived all of the 8 times she was put up. None of us could even do even half of that. Not even half.
Lacey was authentic the entire time too. She never had to switch up her personality, because she was nominated all the fucking time. So she had to be herself. She never had to appeal this fake person, appeal to people. She was always this crazy, iconic Lacey that we know.
And I just feel like she really turned it. The thing is that she went from being next to all these targets, and almost every single week, all those targets went home. And maybe that's because people didn't perceive her off as a threat, but down the long run,
but you also have to look at Bella, because look, she was in the pawn situation as well, and a target went home. So
why didn't Lacey go home one of the 8 times she was a pawn, and Bella did the 1 time Bella was a pawn?
Because it's different. She put herself in this position where she was the ultimate pawn. There's a difference between a pawn and the ultimate pawn. You can't tell me that Lacey stayed in this game because her social connections were stellar. That was not why she stayed.
To be honest, I did not like Lacey in the game, but I kept her every time I had to vote, just because I'm like, oh, it's Lacey. Like, why would I get rid of her? That's
okay,
but that's not good gameplay. That's just that's not good gameplay. That's just her not being a threat.
Okay, hey guys, let's chill. Hey guys, let's chill. One person.
Opinion, but let's not come for Lacey, because at the end of the day, she may have been nominated 8 times, and almost 8 times of those 8 times she stayed next to all those threats. And not to mention, she pulled it out at the end of the season. She won that HOH. She got rid of Grayson, which nobody else could have done. Didn't.
Tried to and didn't.
Wait, and not to mention,
in that one time she was nominated. So
let me add on Kayla. This girl survived what, 8 nominations. Simona, when you were first nominated, you got out the door. So I mean,
okay, but I wasn't nominated 8 times. So those are 2 very different things.
Exactly. So you got nominated. The first time that you got nominated, you got booted. She can't relate.
I do just want to point out,
was perceived as a threat at that point.
But put her in that situation. She was
competition
the
for
first person to get nominated, and then people made those decisions even early on.
But the thing is, she was perceived as a jury threat. It's just people didn't make the. She was perceived as a jury threat. These people, a lot of people didn't.
Chris.
Not a lot, but like,
Grayson,
some people didn't want her out.
you put up Lacey because you thought she was a jury threat.
No, I thought you would go home and I was right.
Right, exactly.
Maybe I didn't win any competitions. I don't know who you asking.
No, but she didn't put herself into this pawn situation. Ava nominated her week one, and then people just kept. Oh, she wasn't. Okay. Well, someone nominated her early on.
No, I nominated her week one.
Okay. Well, what I mean reason because she was a pawn.
The fact is, people kept nominating her. It wasn't
you can try to work your way out of the pawn position during week one, but she didn't try hard enough. She really didn't try to make the social connections to not be a pawn. And that's
when I talked to Lacey on my
one in ZFAMEZ.
Let me interject because me and Lacey were on the same exact boat.
Why is my cat in the sink?
Let me say something. Me and Lacey were on the same exact boat. You also have to realize that nobody wanted to talk to her, period. You can sit here and say it's a two-way thing, but y'all had all this time to talk to everybody else in the house, but not me and Lacey. So
Can I just say that
Chris was still a pawn after week one. So if you're gonna fault Lacey for that, Chris didn't get out of that until weeks later in the game either. Chris also was still a pawn after week one.
Can I say something? I don't think that it's fair to compare Lacey to Climax because I think Lacey did try and talk to people. However, I think that Climax wasn't on a lot of the game, so you can't compare that. I'm just saying.
I mean, the part that I was on, still bitches didn't talk to me.
I wish that Lacey fought for herself more. That's like really my big thing.
I think she fought for herself a lot. Maybe.
I will say, it sounds like Lacey's strong point right now is that she was able to handle stress. Is that it?
No.
I think she was a real and upfront.
Don't come for her. Period.
I'm sorry. I'm playing. Gotta bring things up.
I want to say one thing because I know some people, I'm not gonna name any names, are a little bit bitter about her confessionals. Which yes, that makes sense. But a lot of people in this game talk shit about people, but we're nice when they sent them home. At least I can give Lacey that yes, she wasn't the nicest, but at least if she didn't like you, you knew, and she wasn't fake to you. She didn't say to get your jury vote, then talk shit about you behind your back. Like Lacey called people out her professionals. She shouldn't have done that. Bad jury management, sure, but I would prefer that and know straight up than be like, oh, they're so sweet. I'm gonna let them do it, and they're talking about me the whole entire season. Like,
I want to show that she doesn't care about jury votes, and like, okay, fine, she might have only lost 2 by acting that way, but still, like, showing that you don't care about the jury, it shows something to me.
I think that we as a jury,
Chloe, I have a question for you. How could she care about jury votes when she was a nominee half the time? That's out of her control.
I don't think she's
actually. If you're in the game, you still care.
Multiple times. What do you?
Simona, did you?
Literally, what? She's still in the game. She still has to have jury management. What kind of question is that?
Okay.
It's out of her control, though.
Okay, here's my thing. Lacey, when she was, there are some people in this game who were dragged on a leash by certain people, no names. When she didn't get dragged
name the names,
by
girl.
people
Name the names. If
when
you're gonna call them out. Right.
You know who they are.
We all know Climax.
We've had this talk already.
We've already had this conversation. When they were dragged on a leash, they didn't stand up for themselves. Lacey was a bitch who said what she thought, and she didn't give a fuck. She didn't say no back talk, period, because she did what she did.
I think it's hypocritical. I say like just straight up, like, to be fair, Simona, if I had just called you out, I was like, you suck, you're boring, you're gonna get second place, and you won the next HOH and got out Grayson, you'd be a little bit arrogant too. And yeah, I mean, you can't tell me you wouldn't be like feeling yourself. I think Lacey had every right to feel like a bad bitch after you just told she's getting second place and she won the HOH, got rid of the biggest target in the game.
I agree with that, but I think you still have to be conscious of jury management. Like, yeah, I'd be happy. I'd probably like talk a lot of shit, but I would never like make a confessional about it. Like, especially if I knew that I just sent her home, like, or she went home next to me, she was sitting in the jury. It's still a jury vote that I don't want.
At the end of the day,
I'm just saying,
I can't understand.
Here's the thing, guys.
Wait, I've been dying to say something. Let me pick something.
Climax. Yeah, let Climax go.
Miss Dog on a leash. Anyway, so basically, as a jury, I feel that we need to, that it's coming down to crunch time, and we need to realize like who's gonna represent our season. We cannot
That's what
have
we've been saying.
we have to take that into consideration. When people look back at this season, do you want them to think about Javen, Chris, or Lacey? Be honest.
Lacey. Simona, I want to hear from Simona and Chloe. Do you want them to think about Javen, Chris, or Lacey?
Chris.
None of them, to be honest.
You want them to look back and think about Chris.
Yeah.
The one who made conventionals with butterfly filters, talking about what he argued the entire week. That's what you want to think
my
about.
God, really? You have an issue with butterfly filters, but you don't have an issue with poor jury management?
Can I say something? I don't.
Okay, the thing is clearly
it was fake.
Yeah.
It was fake jury management. It wasn't real. It was fake.
Well, Simona, you didn't have great jury management either, girl.
You had the worst one out of anybody, so I don't.
Okay, but I'm not talking about me. I'm still allowed to care.
Just want to say
Right,
this.
but still, there's plenty of people who haven't had good jury management. Just because she's sitting in that final 3 spot and you're not, does not mean we have to pull her down.
I just want to say this.
Multiple people did not have good jury management. So for us to be sitting here and saying that she doesn't have it, oh, that's the whole reason her game, that's kind of hypocritical of us when multiple of us had terrible
I just want to say this.
I think that's
Lacey maybe didn't give a fuck about her jury management, but clearly people in the jurors want her to win, because right now that's good jury management. Jury management is the fact when people want to vote for you. We have a good majority in this jurors, whatever it's fucking called, in this group who want Lacey to win. That's jury management.
Hey, Chloe, I think what I was trying to tell you earlier was Lacey she had to be too worried about trying to stay in the game the whole time that she couldn't even worry about jury management. That's what I was trying to say.
Didn't make it this far for her.
She's way too preoccupied.
If we're gonna talk about jury management, I don't think that Chris had any better jury management than Lacey. I think
here's why.
Up to the jury, he voted in the minority just to make sure that the people leaving the house wouldn't be mad at him. And to me, that's poor jury management.
His jury management was fake and it was calculated. He would specifically say certain things or pretend like he was gonna flip your way simply for your jury vote. So like, I'm not gonna respect you for playing for my vote. Like, you're talking to me and trying to word certain things in certain ways that are against the way you feel just to get my jury vote. Like, he was playing for the jury vote and not for the game, if that makes any sense. Like, it's the same thing, but it also isn't. Like, Lacey was playing the game regardless of what the fuck. Chris would pretend to care about certain things, talk about certain things just to get jury vote. It's fake. I don't respect that. So I'm not giving my vote for that.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut in. What did Lacey do? Because I still was waiting for the last question I asked her, like, besides her not being stressed out, like, what did she do? I haven't heard anything.
It's a perfect example of a dark horse. I think she was nominated and she stayed 8 times. And then when she got to the end, the first chance that she got to get power, to win power, and she got power, she used it to take out one of the biggest threats, or the biggest threat left in the game.
The target from like final 9.
And not to mention,
she was the one that got him out.
She just needed an opportunity to actually do something, and she did it.
Yeah, and one of the weeks, not to mention, she did win veto for herself, and also she convinced me to use veto on her that week.
And Marvin also used veto on her.
Yeah. So in reality, the thing is though, Lacey, she didn't backstab people. Like we can all say there's a large amount of these people in this jury, including me maybe, who did backstab people and were unloyal. The one thing I can say about Lacey,
she was really loyal to the
maybe she did evict Justin, but most of the game,
I was going home anyways, boo.
She was loyal and honest. She kept it real as much as possible.
And when she did backstab,
she didn't have the opportunity to backstab people.
Simona,
there was no chance. She was all conversating with herself.
Y'all were all in your groups coming up to each other. Nobody wanted to talk to Lacey. Like, that's literally it, girl. Nobody wanted to talk to her. Y'all were all in your little groups. I don't think Lacey had a fair. I think we all had a bigger and better and more fair chance to play the game than Lacey did. And at the end of the day, she's still there. She made the move that we couldn't make to get out Grayson, which we all wanted to do at some point, maybe not Chloe, but everybody else wanted to do. And she did it, and she didn't have the same ability and chances that we had.
And so I think it's also important to focus on, it got brought up a lot that she was nominated week 1. Why was she nominated week 1?
Just literally because she was there and I hadn't talked to her.
So what does that say? I mean, so she didn't try to get out of that position. She just didn't talk.
She won as well.
No, Lacey had good. I mean, she talked to Ava, but Ava just didn't really vibe with her that much.
It was nothing like
able to get off the block.
I can honestly, she couldn't have done anything to, like, I don't know. she
I
was out of
kinda
her
working
control
with her.
in that
I
point.
was
I had
working
like
with
decided
Lacey.
I didn't want to keep switching, so I just decided and I was like done with it.
I
And
was working
after-
with Lacey,
after
but she had
Ava-
already been put up twice. I was like, I'm gonna put up Lacey too, just
Yeah.
because
After
she didn't do anything wrong to me.
Ava's
She was a
week,
crazy pawn.
that's when it was like a domino effect. She just kept getting nominated. And especially the second time she was nominated, it was only because Ava nominated her.
Yeah.
And once people saw that hobby going on of her
It was
getting
the easy thing to
nominated,
do.
they just kept the hobby going on. That's not her fault. I mean, maybe she could have done more, but still it wasn't her fault. People were the ones who were the HOH. They were making their nominations. They nominated her based off the fact that it was a domino effect. She kept getting nominated.
Right, but you also said she could have done more. Like during my HOH, when I was talking to her, if she had been like, Simona, if you put me up, I'm gonna be gunning for you, da da da, I would have been like maybe a little bit hesitant to put her up. When she came to me, you know what she said to me? She was like, I mean, if you put me up, like I'll respect it, like it's fine. Like that, and she said it just like that because that's how she talks. And I just wish in general she fought for herself more. Like she has no
did she try to
fight
make
in her
deals?
voice.
Did she try to make deals with any of you guys? Did she try to make deals to secure safety ever?
She did with me.
She did with me.
Every time she was on the block, she talked to me and she just asked me like, "What are you doing?" And like she's like, "Well, like I hope you keep me." And I was like asking what she'd do if she said she didn't want to make any deals. She want to make any promises. Like not that she wasn't like giving me anything. But
I think that was just to you two because she was working with y'all.
I can say with me on my double eviction week, the girl gave me plenty of reasons not to nominate her, such as the fact that she said, I mean, obviously, I wasn't going to touch the block on her HOH week. She said she had bigger fish to fry, regardless if it was truthful or not. She gave me a plea. She did what she could there. And at the end of the day, she didn't touch the block that week. So that's all that matters.
I think I have a different perspective than some people because, I mean, obviously, when you work with somebody, you're going to hear more about their gameplay. And Chloe and some other people, like, y'all don't work with her that much. Like, y'all don't know much. But I worked with her a lot. And I feel like, at least to me, she was playing the game. We would strategize. A lot of the time, she would go out and talk to people and get information from me and vice versa. Like we would set up talk to people. Like, we'd be like, hey, you're going to go talk to Grayson, see what he tells you. I'm going to go talk to him, blah, blah, blah. Like, we would do that a lot. And at least for me, she was trying and she was playing the game. Maybe y'all didn't see it because she wasn't working because she didn't trust y'all. But I think when she trusted someone, she opened up to them. She told them a lot. Her comments can say the same thing. Me, Clem, and Lacey had a lot of game conversations. We talked a lot about the game. Made a lot of game, or like tried to make a lot of games together. So like, I think at least for me, in my eyes, she was trying to play the game, and she didn't always get her way. And a lot of the time, she wasn't in a position of power to do things that she wanted to do. But anytime that she had power, she's gonna fuck it up and do something big.
Peyton, can I say something? On my third HOH, that was right after Peyton went home, and Lacey was on the block next to Peyton, if I'm correct, right? It was in Climax.
Yeah.
I made a deal with Lacey because I was the swing vote in that position that if I voted to evict Peyton, that me, Lacey, and Climax could work together moving forward. Climax, I don't know if you could attest to this because you were never on, so we never really got to talk to you about it. However, I will say that on my HOH, it was not her fault that I put her up. I did kind of backstab her on that one. So
and then she got you out right after that.
Deal to make an alliance with me, Climax, and her moving forward.
And then she got you out right after that.
But you know.
I just think there were different situations for different people. I can genuinely say, maybe not in Simona's eyes or Chloe's eyes, she played the best game, but for a lot of the jury, and what it comes down to is a majority. If there's a majority vote to win this game, right now, she has our votes. So
there was a confessional.
I want to say this really quick.
Yeah, Justin, you say
it's not as important as like gameplay, sure, but I think y'all are lying if I don't say. I think she was out of the final three the most hands down entertaining.
Wait, I want to say something.
You would care about Lacey.
You don't win because you're entertaining.
Let me say something.
Let me say
something real quick. So I just heard my name in vain while I was, glitching out a little bit. Y'all can all say I wasn't online, blah, 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 but I just want y'all to know that half of me could not help that situation. And so I need y'all to respect what situation I was and just stop being so shady and petty. Like, girl, what's done is done. I'm here, I'm evicted, and that's over. Like,
okay, so back to the conversation we were actually having.
Well, Peyton, I was just making sure that nobody was saying my name in vain. So let's stop the attitude real quick.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm pretty sure Grayson was just saying that Lacey made a deal with the three of you, and was gonna say like Climax could attest to
He
it, but
wasn't
I
sure if
don't
you were there
think
to hear it. I don't think he meant it shady.
like
Yeah.
it wasn't like
Oh,
shade.
no,
it was
no,
just saying-
I know. I just heard my name. You know, I just
Oh,
wanted to,
okay.
you know.
But no, I was saying like, okay, I'm not saying Les What was doing because she was entertaining. That's all I'm saying. But in my eye list, for me, I do want to vote someone that I can look back at the game and be like, yeah, I like the game they played. It was fun to watch. Like, I wasn't bored. For me, I was never bored with Lacey. Like, she was always entertaining. And if we're thinking about someone who's gonna represent our season,
That's what I was about to say.
If it's like a close call, entertainment is maybe something that could push you to be like, Chris and Lacey, who was more entertaining? Who would you have rather watched like on a show? Lacey, 100%, no doubt.
I don't think entertainment should come into this. I think it should be
it's a part factor for me. I think she's very entertaining.
No,
I take it into consideration.
I think a little
entertainment
bit.
comes
It's
into
not a deciding
play
factor at
when we
all.
talk
It's
about
a plus on her side.
representation of our
You can make that
season.
face all you want, but it's a plus. It's a plus for me, and I'm voting for me, not for you. So.
And we're
I mean, to
talking
be
about
fair,
Bro,
like
we
how
can
much
hop into shady real quick.
how much would it suck if you
will say
lost
something.
because you
For
weren't
real.
entertaining? Like
Yeah,
if you
Well,
played like a
exactly.
stellar game
It's not a
and just like
deciding
lost.
factor. It's not a deciding factor for me. It's just a plus for her. It's not a deciding factor, but it's just a plus for me. And Lacey's
Okay.
yeah. That's all I gotta say about Lacey. I love her. Hope she wins.
There was something I was gonna bring up, but okay, never mind. I'm gonna bring it up. I got the green light. So, it was in a confessional where Lacey was thinking about how she almost used the veto on Justin the week that she was on the block. Does anyone have any opinions on that?
No comment.
That was the stupidest shit anyone ever could have done. This
It would have been
Hey, I just want to say she didn't though. She didn't. So.
Okay, but the fact that she was close.
Okay, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think I can be very persuasive. And I'm telling you, I sat on call for 2 hours and I made it sound really, really, really good for her. And that's why she considered it. But at the end of the day, she saw through my bullshit and she didn't do it, but she almost did because I'm very persuasive. I made it seem like it was the smartest, biggest, best move ever. I told her you're gonna.
Justin, I'm so sorry, but I think
good
everyone
reasons
would
to do
and
it.
use the
But
video
at the end of the day, she didn't. So we shouldn't fault her because she didn't do it.
Okay,
We
the
can't fault her
thing
for thinking about it.
Almost everybody in this game was somewhat mind fucked by Justin, especially when Justin got evicted that week. He
I disagree.
supposedly mind fucked Simona. So if Simona,
That's not what we're talking about. Like,
okay, but I'm saying
We're talking about Lacey. We're talking about like how I almost convinced Lacey.
Yeah, I just think we all have mistakes in our gameplay. Maybe we don't want to own up to
I don't
them.
think we should fault her for considering when she didn't do it. She didn't do it, so we shouldn't fault her for that.
Chris made plenty of mistakes in his game. Javen made even more mistakes in his game. Maybe she made a mistake in this one specific situation, but it's not even a mistake.
But it was because she didn't do it.
He didn't do it. So
like, I almost convinced her to. So if she would have done it and then she was final 3, go ahead. But she, at the end of the day, she saw through my bullshit. I almost got her. I was this close to getting her, but I didn't. So she shouldn't.
Wait, speaking of Justin's bullshit and his mind fucking, Justin, I have a question for you. Was your relationship with myself genuine or was it purely gameplay? Be honest.
It was real. I only fucked you over one time in the game, but I had many opportunities to fuck you over many times and I didn't. So yeah.
Okay, so can anyone pinpoint one strategic strong moment for Lacey?
I think.
Cricket.
I have one. I think she was smart when I was found nominee on the block for her to kind of distance myself and go with Grayson and start working Grayson a little bit and talking to Grayson and throwing me away. Because I think she could have stuck with me, been like, I'm keeping Justin. I fucked it up. Like she was almost, and she would have went down with me. But I think she was smart to be like, okay, Justin, gonna vote him out, gonna talk to Grayson.
I just want to say, the fact that she managed to again control herself most of the time, even though she was nominated like 8 times, the fact that she was able to control herself a lot of the time says a lot about her.
I was over by the second time. I was over it. I was over the game. I was so ready to go home.
I mean, I just think the fact is like, we obviously, if she really was that bad of a player, we wouldn't all be like wanting her to win right now. So that says enough about her game.
I'm just saying, like, everybody here, we've all been on the block. We all went home. Think about when you were on the block and how stressful that was. She had that same feeling 8 entire weeks of the game. 8 times. I was over it and I was ready to go home by the second time I was on the block. I was like, fuck it, send me home. Like, whatever, I don't care anymore. She did that 8 times. That is not easy. Like, that is not easy. By week 4, I would have had a breakdown and quit the game, I think. Like, 8 times is a lot of time to be on the block.
Okay,
From
that's
week
just going
1.
Okay,
From week 1
I
of
want
the
to
game.
say something. Simona said like she was being like passive or something when she was on block, like and stuff. But like speaking from my perspective, she's always been very progressive with like trying to keep herself when she was on block. Like every time she talked to me, she was really trying to like
Me too.
prove that she should stay. Like I don't know. I just didn't agree with
I
that.
I think that if we're trying to
vote anyway,
pinpoint-
I don't think she cared that much. Not cared that much. Like, I don't think she found it like beneficial for her to spend her time with you. Like, for me, she would tell me who to talk to. She would ask me, who should I talk to? What do I say to them? For me, she was trying every time that she would talk to me. She was trying to like, what do I say to this? What do I say to that person?
I think it's wrong to say like she didn't try to stay.
I think in the conclusion, it's like, obviously she did something. Maybe we can't fully go detailed on, even though we pretty much have, on what she did, but clearly she did something to make us jurors want to vote her. So Simona, maybe you don't accept that because you're not in that position. But at the end of the day, she's there. You got your ass whooped and got evicted. So
you're acting like Raven Walton right now. You need
okay.
It's probably not.
I'll not just
So, can I just say, if we're trying to pinpoint like one big game move that Lacey made, and I know we're getting repetitive with this, but we need to remember that it is hard for her to make huge game moves when she's on the block. But she survived on the block 8 times, not just against random people, but against big targets as well.
And she also, maybe she didn't win those HOHs or vetoes, but most of the time she was close. I mean, I can say for myself, the times when you were in those competitions, a lot of these competitions this season were hard to win because we had so many good competitors surrounding us. So the fact that she was even close to win some of those competitions says that she was somewhat there with the physical game.
And at the end of the day, we can't pinpoint one huge big move Javen or Chris did either. So,
and Simona, you know a lot about
you can get the whole question away
because you did it like through all of your competitions. So if you know what I mean, like you have to give her sympathy for that. You know what I mean?
I think Lacey's game was so perfect that we can't pinpoint one move.
It was so perfect. There's no faults and flaws at all.
All I have to say, Lacey has some certain people mad who are disappointed in their own game, and they just like don't like her because of that reason.
I'm glad you think so.
I never don't have a huge move either, so you can throw the whole question away because I can't name a huge move any of the 3 of them made, so it's not fair to
Simona at the end.
I'll be asking the same thing for Javen. So.
Yeah.
Simona, she was entertaining and you were just
there.
Since when does entertainment make a winner? What is this?
Almost every single winner in Big Brother is entertaining. I'm not voting for a dull bitch who just played predictable game. I mean, at the end of the day, Simona, if you were in that finale right now, I would probably be bashing your ass right now because
I'm aware. You made that very clear. Thank you.
Yeah, no, because I love you on a personal level, but you were dull as fuck. I don't want to see that as a winner. I don't want that. I don't want that representing our season. No. I want Lacey.
I think safety.
Simona, do you seriously not want Lacey to win just because she said some shit about you?
Pretty much.
No, I genuinely don't think she deserves it. I genuinely don't think she deserves it.
I think you're just a little bitter now. It's okay to be bitter.
Everyone else is saying that she does.
Bitter
Everyone else.
Disgusting.
But okay, hand. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but I'm just kind of tired of Simona getting jumped because we have to think some of us will have different perspectives. Simona viewed this from a different. Simona played for herself, obviously, so it's like she's seeing things through a different light. I by no means agree with any of the shit Simona's saying right now, but I don't know. I don't think we should jump her just because she saw stuff from a different light than we do.
Yes, I agree. I'm sorry. I know what it feels like.
I don't think we're bashing her. I just think
I don't think anyone's jumping her. I think we're just having a jury segment, girl.
If she doesn't know that she played a boring game, then that's just sad. And Lacey played an entertaining game. So I'm not going to like sugarcoat this shit. I love you, Simona. We all love you on a personal level. But if you're going to be coming for someone's game a lot, I don't know for what reasons, but and the fact is that you're not happy with how you played your game and you should not be happy because it wasn't there. But Simona, you didn't get there. Lacey's in this position. She's in the final 3. You got evicted final 5. So she's there. You're not. So
anyways,
so
we're gonna bring up the third person, who honestly you guys have not said a lot about at all.
Because there's nothing to say. It'll be 10 minutes for the
okay.
Actually, I have something to say.
It's Javen. So let me get to his stats. He won 1 HOH at Final 8. Kayla got evicted on that HOH, and he was nominated twice at Final 5 and Final 4. So anyone want to take the reins on Javen?
The shortest stat that anybody.
I'm gonna take some shit because he did. I was evicted on his HOH week. I'm gonna say about Javen is he is the worst. If there's anybody in this franchise, the worst player to ever play ZFAMEZ.
I disagree.
Why is that?
Okay, Grayson, don't get on someone because Grayson, you just got on someone for being bitter, and you're just as bitter at Chris. You can't talk.
I'm not.
You are just as bitter.
I know more about Javen than you guys.
Javen, okay, Javen and me in this game, coming into this game, I'm not gonna say anything to him, but the fact is, he told me, regardless of the outcome in my eviction week, that he was gonna keep me. Promised me that he was gonna keep me, and he evicted me regardless. And I mean, I'm not gonna hold that too much against him, but then it comes down to his HOH week, and that part where it's like, I mean, I genuinely cannot give no props to him because he didn't do shit with that shit. I mean,
please, me and Simona ran his
HOH. Right, I can't say that Simona. Can I say?
Wait, Climax. Wait, like Climax was wanting to say something.
So with Javen, honestly, I'm looking for someone who did change their costume throughout the season. And Javen just happened to not be changing his costume. He played the same game. It was just not the tea.
Okay, the thing is he wanted Climax out. And no offense to you, Climax, that says a lot considering where Climax got in the game. He wanted Climax out of everybody in the game. Climax.
Well,
and then he
was Climax going after him at all or no?
Well, Climax didn't necessarily like him, but he wasn't winning any competition.
Climax wasn't winning the HOH. He didn't show up for some of them. Like other people were trying really, really hard.
But was anyone? So was anyone targeting Javen at that time?
No, he doesn't do anything.
No.
So why did he make more enemies instead of just going for someone who doesn't like him?
Right, and can I comment on that? Can I make a plea for Javen? Can I not be interrupted on this one? Because I know I'm going to give people 2 seconds and going back. Okay, so I would like to preface this by saying that I think that Javen unnecessarily lied to people for no reason and was a very dirty player. However, I think starting with his HOH week, he wanted to go after Climax because he was playing this lie low game. Because at the beginning of the game, he was already seen as a threat from other games and especially Reality Star from getting second. So I think that he needed to play below the radar or under the radar game, and I think he used people as shields, like me and other people. I'll run second, Justin, in order to not be targeted. And I think that when he won HOH at Final 9,
Final 7,
Final eight, he didn't want to make this big move, because else he would have become a bigger threat than me. So he wanted to take out Climax, who would ruffle no feathers at all. And I also think that without Javen, my game, he had social connections, although he broke them and lied about them. He had social connections with everybody in the house. He had it with the Incredibles and the other side, because it was Javen who had a connection to Peyton, that I could have a connection to Peyton. And so I think that you guys are bashing his game, but I think he did play better.
And I just say this, everybody was gonna target me the week after, and he wanted to do it on his HOH. And for me, I put so much trust into Javen even after I got evicted the first time by him. I put trust in him and I kept him on my double eviction week. And the fact is he was not loyal for shit. Because at the end of the day,
me and Simona,
can I just finish?
Force that.
No, I get that, but it's just like everybody was going to target me the next week. So for him to do it on his HOH week says a lot about where his loyalty stands and how good of a jury management he was.
I will
right,
say,
right.
I'm not trying to single you out, Kayla, but you did say Simona was just bitter at Lacey. So are you just bitter at Javen?
I'm not bitter. I just think he played a shitty game. I mean,
Okay.
okay.
And then Justin, your hands up. Justin, your hands up. Your hand has been up for like so long. So what do you have to say?
I just want to say, I'm not gonna commend Javen for playing an under the radar game for the entire game. It's final 8, and you're still not ready to make a move. And now, like, okay, can you make a final 8? Okay, he had final 7, 6, 5, 4. It's now 3. He has no chances now to make a move. So what, Javen? I played an under the radar game. That's his speech. That's his plea. Like, he didn't do anything. Like, you play under the radar, and then you come up and you think you do something, and you show out, or you play under the radar, but then you look, you pulled the strings. He didn't do any of that. Like, did he pull the strings for any of y'all? Did he like really like make a move on behalf of any of y'all? No. So he was under the radar until final 8 with 8 people in the game. He's like, let me be on the radar, get rid of climax, which failed, and does nothing. Like, you have to get up from under the radar at some point, and it's now it's too late. It's final 3. It's too late now. So he has nothing for me to give him where he's good enough, because like you play under the radar, but then you do something with that. You turn it into is nothing.
I wanted to say something about what Kayla said, how she said she fully trusted Javen. I think almost every single person.
Fully. I said I
Okay, you said you really did trust Javen even after you were evicted. I think a lot of people really trusted Javen, and that says something about his social game. I think the reason he didn't win a bunch of comps and want to make a big move is because he was set up really well socially, and he didn't want to piss off the people he was working with, which was the majority of the house. Okay. And also, I just want to whatever I'm saying, Justin is not applying to you.
No, yeah, I'm gonna say the thing about me and then stop talking about Javen. I said like a million times. I'm gonna say it. The reason why I have the issue with Javen, you can call me better, you can say I'm a hypocrite because I called someone out for being better or whatever. I don't care. At the end of the day, Javen came to me day 2 and told me that he wanted to be in an alliance with me because we were the only 2 Black people in the season, and that was it. Like, he came to me with that, told me because we're 2 Black people in the season, he wants to work with me, and that it's just that, and he wasn't gonna go after me. He swore on God and on his mom he wasn't gonna go after me, point blank and period. Then when it was me and Bella on the block, he knew he didn't have questions. That's wrong with Bella. So before his game, it was good for Javen to evict me. I mean, to keep me. So he goes around the house. He goes, I'm not going to evict Justin because we're the only 2 Black people. He made a confessional being like, I feel Justin day 1 because of our skin color. I'm not voting Justin out. But then the second that I'm on the block against Peyton, and for all now, he knows that it's not better for him to evict Peyton over me. He throws out the lines. Black lives don't matter anymore. He lies to me about keeping me. So it's like you totally, in my opinion, used something deeper than the game, which was our race, to have me as an ally, and I don't, and I can't. No matter what he does, or no matter what he did after that point, I wasn't gonna go doing because I think that's fucking disgusting. I think he's disgusting for doing that, and he doesn't have my respect out on the slightest.
And I know this is a very sorry, Kayla. I just want to say something. I know it's very, very sensitive, obviously, but Justin, did you go after him at all this whole game?
No, and I could have
at all.
Week 1, Ava was gonna backdoor him, and me and him had that talk.
No.
And I stopped her from backdooring him week 1 because when I could have pushed that, but I didn't because he made me promise deeper than the game, and I was gonna keep to that. I didn't go against him one time in the game, and I wouldn't have, point blank.
Okay. The thing is about Javen is, I don't know who said this because I can't remember, but someone said like he wanted to keep those connections intact. I think it was Chloe. But at the end of the day, especially after those evictions, like the thing is that at final 8, it's not coming to stay safe anymore. It's playing to win, because at the end of the day, he knew, and he told me this, he knew the people around him were way better physically than him. So he had that opportunity. He had that HOH win, and he did not use it to his full benefit. Maybe it was not, maybe it kept him safe. Obviously, he's in the final 3 now, but could he have done more is the thing. Yes, he could have made a bigger move.
Had he made a bigger move that week, would he still be in the game, do you think?
I genuinely think he would. I think maybe taking a shot at one person in the house who was a big threat is not going to ruin his whole game, because everybody after that and everybody in the jury phase were moves. I mean, for example, maybe this was predictable again, but Ava got evicted week 1. Justin got evicted. Grayson got evicted. Simona was a physical threat. She got evicted. All these people got evicted, and they all played maybe, well, I don't want okay, like most of them played good games at the end of the day. So with that being said,
I call shade.
Javen could have done something.
I call shade, girl.
And the thing, I don't get it because he did this to me, Kayla, and Simona. It is the final 9 onwards. No vote is hidden. No vote is going to be a surprise vote. It's very rarely that the vote's going to be surprised. We know who sent us home when we go to jury. So what the fuck is the logic in lying to me, Simona, and Kayla that you're going to keep us when the vote is very clearly not there? Like, why say, Justin, no matter what, I'm keeping you, and the vote's 5-1? You didn't keep me. Why lie about it? Like, what do you get other than making me mad? I think he thought just in case. No, like, you're not gonna get away with it, Javen. Like, why lie? There's no logical reason to lie to the jury. I just send them out of the game. There's no
That's
reason.
like when Ava lied to me after she evicted.
Yeah,
that was so unnecessary because
right?
all he
That
had
was so stupid.
all they had to do is tell me straight up, or
Straight up.
any of us that got evicted by him. He could have just said, you know what? I'm gonna be a real bitch. I'm gonna own this shit. I'm evicting you.
I'm not
That's
gonna
all
speak
he
for
had to say.
Simona. I'm sure Simona would have appreciated it more if Javen didn't lie to her face about if she said, "Hey, I'm gonna evict you," rather than giving her a
And
false.
that's bad jury management because that just made things worse for him rather than making things better for him.
If you already played a horrible game and now you want them to be mad at you as you go home, like, you fucking suck. I would vote Climax win over Javen. 100%, no doubt.
We also, for Javen, we also need a winner who was like honest with themselves as a person, because I'm sorry, I've heard that he's scared of corn too many times to believe it's true anymore.
He's scared
Girl,
of corn,
how can you
SpaghettiOs,
scream at a
spaghettos,
fucking
the same
picture
things
of
over and over.
corn and be that traumatic? Girl, bye, next.
At the end of the day, I can't speak for everybody else, but if anybody in that final 3 does not deserve to be a winner, it's Javen.
You can't tell me, Grayson, that Javen deserves it over Chris. You can't tell me that. Come on, Grayson. You think over Chris, Javen really deserves to win?
Let's give Grayson a chance to explain.
I'd have to hear the jury, please.
Please.
So our jury plea is going to be a big part. Good. I'm so glad I could talk. Could Javen's jury plea make a big difference in any of your minds?
There's nothing he can say or do at this point. I think at the end of the day, he's had to have done something to talk about. I don't know what is he even going to talk about.
What could he say?
I don't know. He'd have to take off his suit and he's actually like another person underneath him and he's been playing as a fake personality the whole time.
I'm sorry, but someone saying that
he has to do something. I don't know there's nothing he can do to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but someone saying that they would vote me over him is kind of like, girl. Does he even just
I would happily vote Climax over Javen.
Sorry, you go. Sorry.
Girl, if I was, like, you know what I mean? Like, his just game wasn't respectable enough to make him a winner.
Whatever takes Javen wins.
He yelled at me for 3 days. That's all he did.
He yelled at Ava like so much for no reason. He called her Ratatouille, like all these things for like.
But then continue to say, "I love you as a person. I love you so much," but then would call her Ratatouille, and
okay,
so
Ava on a game level deserved most of that heat. But
I think he was doing personal.
Yeah, but he dragged it on. I was already down.
He kept kicking her while he was down over and over.
The thing is the fact that Javen was like saying, I know she's a new player. I love you, Ava. You're like so good. I love you so much. And then he continues to literally full on yell at her.
Mm-hmm. Like, and during the HOH competition, that was like,
I don't respect Javen as a game player or as a person. So no matter what, he's not getting my vote.
I've never respected that. I told y'all, Ava, girl, whatever. I told you since week 1, get that bitch out. He's disgusting. Backdoor his ass. And you didn't listen, and look where he is now. Disgusting.
Almost everybody in this jury deserves to win over Javen. And maybe production or the hosts have different thoughts about that. But we were all in this house with him.
I would vote Matt to win over Javen. If Matt walked in and took a final 2 spot, I would vote Matt to win over Javen.
Thank you.
Javen did not do anything. Like, he just did not do shit. If he wants to call getting rid of me someone who was loyal to him, a lot of this game put trust in him. A move when he had people like Grayson and other people
Simona
in the game.
I mean, to be fair, it does sound like he had social connections with everyone.
I mean, but how smart is that? How smart?
I mean,
working with every single person at final 8, knowing that no matter who goes home, they're mad at you now. I think that's
But it's
stupid.
the fact that
For a jury, if people are going to be bitter, then that's not good. But if but he's still there after working with everyone, and like everyone saw him betray people week after week after week and didn't.
Yeah, I still think
come for him.
I think it's stupid from a jury standpoint. You can't work with the whole final 8 because that means no matter who goes home, they're always mad at you now.
Yeah, no, but
then none of his other allies, saw that and then did anything about it. They weren't like, oh, he backstabbed them, he's gonna backstab me now.
Because he didn't do anything.
I called that shit out. I called that shit out week 1. I called that shit out week 1 and tried to get his ass out week 1. So pause. Break. Replay. No. Next.
The first conversation we had, Climax was like, get him out.
The thing is the fact that Javen, at that point in the game, I think almost everybody loved each other on a personal level, but in that situation,
not Climax.
I said almost everybody. Almost everybody.
Okay, because
I
didn't get any love from y'all.
it's just like at that point in the game, you have to really think, what is gonna make me a winner, or what is gonna like make me shine in a season. And in that specific situation, he did not make a mark on this franchise. What he did is he looked like a basic ass little weak ass bitch that he looked like. And no offense to him, I told him in my final words, I said to him, I wasn't gonna target you. I don't target weak bitches. I had bigger fish to fry in that game. And I think he didn't understand fully. And I think there was something really wrong going in that strategic mindset, because there were people, and I love you, but Grayson, you needed to go. And that was an opportunity for him to backdoor Grayson. He had that opportunity.
He was scared.
He knew that people were going to evict Grayson, and he didn't do that because
what would have been the backlash if he got rid of Grayson? Who would have been like, oh my God?
Grayson, were you working with Javen, or did you at least think you were?
Yes, I was working with Javen. I kind of had him like wrapped on my finger a little.
Okay,
so you would have.
So you would have.
But you're gonna vote him to win. You would have wrapped around your finger. You're gonna vote him to win.
So you would have protected him had you won competitions past that week.
Me?
Or you? Yeah. Like he didn't.
Well,
he
yeah,
got
because I could
Kayla
beat him
out.
in the end.
Because anyone would have. It wasn't.
But do you think that he knew that you would protect him? So he didn't go after you?
1,000%.
And is that good? That's good though for him, right? If he knew that, and use that to his advantage and capitalize.
He's not going to target someone who was going to
just because you make it to the end doesn't mean
you're reaching. You're reaching.
That's good.
I'm playing devil's advocate, okay?
Okay.
It's not. You don't deserve to win because you make it to the end. You deserve to win because you deserve to win. Making it to the end does not make you deserving of winning. So he made it to the end. That's all he does when he gets to the end. Point blank.
And even then, he may still not make it to the end.
Exactly.
So
if he gets third place, he did all that just to get third place. I hope he's so disappointed in himself because you played the most boring, loser, horrible game to get third place. That sucks. That's all.
I hope he gets second.
He had an opportunity. He had a huge, and I think the biggest consensus in this game is the fact in this game, when you have an opportunity to do something, you need to do something that's going to make your mark. I mean, for me, especially in jury phase, it wasn't about making weak moves. I put up Chloe and Peyton because Peyton, first off, was getting a little out of control. No offense to you. And Chloe was aligned with people I wasn't necessarily trusting. And Chloe didn't talk to me at all either, but that's irrelevant. It's just the fact is, you have to do stuff that maybe you don't like on a personal level, but at the end of the day, you have to play the game before the game plays you. That's my quote, bitch.
I think if it's final 8 and you're still scared and playing under the radar, or you're putting up the two non-biggest threats to win the game because you don't want to ruffle. It's final 8. Like if you are still scared to play your game at final 8, you do not deserve to win. It's final 8. What do you like? No, there's.
That's what I was about to say.
The most biggest way.
The only reason Kayla went home on his HOH was because of Simona and me. And even with that, he was still upset after that because he was like, now Kayla's going to be mad at me. Kayla's going to be so mad at me, blah, blah, blah. And he was freaking out. And I was like, well, it was going to happen at some point.
The thing is, still scared at final 8. And that shows that he sucks.
I don't know if I said anything to the jurors when I first came in, but he literally was telling me, I told him again, like, I think you're weak, bitch. have anything much to say to you besides the fact that I'm not targeting you because I don't think much of your game. But I told him that, and he was literally agreeing to it, saying that he was going to have my back, saying that he was going to try to attempt to get votes for me to stay. And clearly that didn't age well because I didn't see any conversations going on with Peyton or Simona or any of the other bitches where he was trying to get me to stay.
But what did y'all expect? What did y'all expect though? That's just Javen as a person, period. He's not going to keep
I know, but that just added it onto
to
it, you know? That just
I
added
think he's fake. I don't respect him.
Okay, so can anyone say more anything that was a strong point of his game? I know we touched on the social aspect and how he was working with everyone. Does anyone else have any strong points?
Other than social.
I'll say a strong point. I think Javen did a magnificent job at making me, Simona, and Grayson his shields, maybe. And that's about all.
But I don't think he did that. I think that's what it was. I think you all were the bigger threat. It wasn't like he did that.
No, I think that
he okay. At the end of the day, he was like,
"Girl, there's a lot at the end of the day."
There's like
I was about to say.
There's like a list.
You can't consider Grayson a shield for Javen because Grayson was the biggest threat. He was everybody's shield.
There was Grayson, there was Peyton, then there was Simona, and then there was Javen. Javen was being like dog walked by everybody in this game, including those three people I just stated. Simona was being like dragged along with Grayson. Those people were literally like so. I don't want to come for Simona, sorry. Javen
Leave her
was
alone.
so weak. The fact that he couldn't get out of that situation and he was not smart enough to get himself out of that situation and play his own game, he was like riding all these bitches' dicks. And it was sad to think that he would, because if we're so-called saying that bringing up other games like Reality Star, he should have known better by that reputation. Like at the end of the day, he was a dumb bitch, he was a weak bitch, and he was a dick hopper, period.
I think from that totem pole, it went Grayson, Payne, Simona, Javen, right? I don't think Javen put himself in a position where y'all three were his shields. I think he, out of the four, sucked the most, and y'all were the three better players. He didn't make himself a worse player, he just was the worst player. Y'all were the shield because y'all were better. Not because he was like, I'm going to purposely make myself a bad player so that they target Grayson, Peyton, and Simona. No, he just was the bad player out of the four. I'm not giving him credit for that.
It wasn't intentional.
Wait. He just sucked the most out of the four. It wasn't intentional. He sucked the most out of the four.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up, what Simona just said.
He also didn't get into fun. Yeah,
I don't.
But that's the same case. Sorry, I'm gonna let you finish your sorry.
I don't see Javen as a player. More, I see him as a TV persona. If that makes any sense.
Like, wasn't even a TV persona. He was just there. I don't know why he deserved to.
Javen didn't get put up to a final five because he didn't do anything. Why would you ever evict Javen? Ever?
I get it. I get it. You maybe want to postpone your game, maybe like fly under the radar, not make yourself as big as a threat. I think that was my biggest mistake in my game. But at the end of the day, we all signed up into this game and we all made a commitment to play this game. And he did not play this game at all. He literally just won an HOH, did nothing with that HOH, then continued to lie to people's faces.
To lie and
even
do
though already knew that he was a snake. It's
why would anybody here get rid of Javen? Would any of you have reason to get rid of Javen? There's no reason. Why would you ever put him out?
Yelled at me.
Why would you get rid of? Well, I guess you were mad at him personally.
So
but like,
what we're saying
on
is
a game wise, no one would.
He did an excellent job in not being a threat.
Well, okay, you can't give someone praise for not being a threat because he didn't do anything. He didn't make himself not a threat. He just didn't do anything.
I do want to say you guys were praising Lacey for the same thing.
No, but I don't think
Lacey did things.
I don't think Lacey
talked about
was trying to make herself a threat. I think she didn't get a chance. And I think when Lacey had power, she did something. When Javen had power, he did nothing. I'm not gonna give Javen commendability for not being a threat because he literally did not do anything. Like, okay,
right
so
now,
I'm not gonna praise you because you didn't do anything. Like, literally, there's not one thing that he did. I can give Lacey a few things. I can give Chris a lot of things. I can't give Javen one thing. Not one.
Lacey's all the way up here. Chris is like right here in the middle.
I mean, you have
and Javen drops to right here. Like it's just like there's nothing. There's like he's below he's below the ground. Like there's nothing.
If Javen wins,
is he below climax? Is he below climax? Because if he's below climax, that's beyond.
I would vote climax. I would vote you over Javen.
Right here with climax, and that says a lot.
I'd vote Javen over. I'd vote climax.
Even climax is right here.
Well, you were gonna vote for climax over anyone.
Well, like I'm saying, like, I would happily, like I would do it because I want him to win over anyone.
Almost everybody, and like I mean, almost everybody in this juror deserves at least 3 of these people in this juror deserve to be in that final 3. I mean, over a lot.
Name them.
No, I think we all deserve to win over Javen.
I'm not gonna say any names because you know.
Why not? Why say it then?
Why?
But there are certain people who did shit. Who did? I mean, as much as I hate the bitch on a fake level, Ava deserved to make it way farther. And she should toot her own horn because that bitch is a newbie. She did not expect that much coming into this game. And she
You
did
can
her
say
shit.
that she's a newbie all you want, but that bitch, you know that bitch has been watching Big Brother for what? How long?
No, she wasn't watching the show for that long. She watched like 2 weeks before the game started. She was watching.
There were flaws. There was like the fact that she was a little bit fake.
Let me shut my mouth.
The flaws were noticeable.
Yeah, but it's the first game. Like,
she did her shit. And Justin, that's spoken for himself. We all know what Justin did. It's all over. It's all positive. There's nothing really bad about Justin. Grace,
does anyone think it's commendable that Javen was not put up till final 5, even as a pawn? Like you guys say, like he did nothing, but no one used him as a pawn, even though he did nothing.
He wouldn't have been used as a pawn because he had good relationships with people.
Exactly, which is.
But yeah, but they weren't like it wasn't. I just don't think it was enough. You know,
people were not worried enough to put him up as a nomination because that's how weak he was. People were again like, this is not the same with Lacey.
Either way, in the end, he ruined the relationships anyway. So
this is a different situation with Lacey than it is with
at least for me. Like
Javen was
no, go ahead. But as a pawn with Lacey, like at final 8, like let's say I put up Grayson and Lacey. And I was like, you know what? If worse goes to worse, I would 100,000% rather Lacey go home than Javen. Like, there is not a single reason in my mind why Javen would ever be a target. He played horribly in the game, and the jury hated him because he had horrible jury management. I don't see why you would ever target Javen. I'm not going to give him credit for sucking. I'm not going to give him credit for sucking. I'm sorry. I can't give him praise for being horrible, and that's why he stayed at the bar. I just can't do it. You know what? Yes, it's commendable that he was social, so no one put him up, but that's not enough to win the game. Like, it's like Abby Maria. It's like, why do you have to win? Social, not display.
Please, what is Tatum doing?
Chloe, what are your thoughts? Because you seem to have a more positive outlook on his game, and a lot of people here don't. So,
that's because they best friends.
Grayson was bringing up at some points, like the whole social thing, and I just do think that he set himself up well to last long in the game, and he wasn't used as a pawn because people didn't want to nominate him because they felt good with him, they trusted him. And like you might be like, oh, I'm biased because I was close with him in the game, but I did, like, even when I was in the game, I saw that he was playing a good game. And I don't know, I hope people aren't like automatically I'm not voting Javen, because I do think at least listen to the speech, because I think he played a game where on the surface we might not see it, but once he explains it, it'll probably like make sense. Like he's probably gonna say a lot of stuff that even I don't even know about yet. So.
And Simona, quickly, I also want to go to Simona because she literally has not spoken in like 20 minutes. You're also muted, girly.
No, I think Javen played similarly to me, and I know you guys hate my game, but I happen to not hate my game. Hate to break it to you. He didn't get nominated till final 5. I didn't get nominated till final 6. And my thing though is like, yeah, he didn't win a lot of competitions, and we've agreed that we think competition wins are like relatively important, but he didn't need to, and I think that's different. And like, I'm disappointed that he used his HOH win to target Climax, and I made that very clear. That's why I used the veto on Climax and like did that. But like I think he probably, like, there aren't any like fatal mistakes other than that. Like I think that was a mistake. I think that was a strategic opportunity that was missed, and I think biased, but I do think voting me out was the wrong decision because Lacey was clearly the bigger threat than I was. But other than that, I don't think there are any like fatal mistakes that he made other than lying to people. Like Chloe was saying, he betrayed a lot of people's trust and he still got people to trust him, and he used his relationships to get him far in the game. Whereas like counterpoint to like Lacey is that she didn't make the relationships, and you guys are saying, oh well, she talked to me. You guys went out early. Those people didn't last long in the game, and it ended up getting her nominated time after time after time. And you can be like, oh, she survived, but like, and
enough to get her out.
You cannot sit here and say, and you cannot sit here and say and start blaming Lacey for not talking to this and that, because at the end of the day, a lot of people in this house barely making any interest to talk to her, and that's period.
Okay, but part of it is she has to make the effort too. Like if people aren't talking to her,
right? You can say that it's vice versa, but you don't have time for her, but you have time for all of these other people in the house. You say that's vice versa, whatever. It's supposed to be the same feeling, same energy, but you're having the same energy, but with other people. You need to like, you know what I mean? Like
the point blank is that anybody in the final three, I mean, as much as I may not agree with Chris's gameplay, anybody in that final three, I don't know what you guys are thinking if you say differently, but anybody in the final three deserves to win over Javen, point blank. So if you guys think
I would happily vote Chris over Javen. If y'all vote Javen over Chris, I'm gonna like cry.
If you genuinely think Javen deserved to win over Chris, or Lacey,
in your brain,
Simona,
you were clearly brainwashed while you were in that house.
Simona, if you think Javen deserves to win over
She
Lacey,
never said that. Simona never said that.
No, I'm saying if you think that Javen deserves to win over Lacey, that will speak bitterness, point blank. Period.
I think there's a lot of talk about bitterness, and hopefully in the finals, you guys can take all personal feelings aside and listen to their pleas, see what happens. And this is a really good place to wrap everything up, actually, right? Yeah. So no matter what happens, you guys are all part of season 4. This has all been an experience. You guys are a family, whether you like each other or not. You all shared this experience together. It was a great season, and you're going to pick who you want to represent your season. Everyone's going to look back at season 4 and think of the winner. So that's really it. You guys are literally one big family now, dysfunctional, but a family. And that's really all.
Y'all gonna vote Javen to win. Oh my God.
That's really also, I mean, I had a great time, getting back into this whole fandom thing, I guess. It's really exciting. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.